Today's video is inspired by this. A letter that I got from my friend in the UK. We write each other letters, and I realized how difficult of an art this is. And yes, I do say art because it is an art. So upon my research, I found that the first ever written letter was written by the Persian queen Atissa in the year 500 BC, and was written on paper scrolls, those textured pieces of paper that you probably associate with like hieroglyphics and the Egyptian ancient era. That's basically what a lot of letters were written on, a lot of written work was done on basically. Something noteworthy that I also found in my research was that Abraham Lincoln's beard was inspired by a letter by an 11-year-old girl named Grace Bedell. She wrote to the president. I think he wasn't president at the time when he wrote to her, but she basically said that I think he'd look better in a beard. And when he became president, he invited her over to the White House, and lo and behold, he had a beard. I found a letter written by F. Scott Fitzgerald to his editor Edmund Wilson, and I quote, it goes like this: "Since I last saw you, I've tried to get married and then tried to drink myself to death, but failed as have been so many good men. By the sex and the state, I have returned to literature." And what a world we'd live in if F. Scott Fitzgerald did not decide to return to literature. I mean, I certainly would not be here. Another interesting letter that I found was by Ghalib, the Persian Hindi Urdu writer of the 1800s. And he wrote a letter to another writer friend of his named Munshi. And the letter goes, "Everything outside Allah is insubstantial and fleeting. There is no poetry and no poet, no qasidas and no plans for the future. Nothing exists except Allah." I think that was very interesting because as a man of literature, Ghalib didn't really have a strong relationship with his God. And I thought that was a very neat little moment in Ghalib's life. Also a letter. Another great writer who wrote great letters was Ernest Hemingway, and I want to read you this portion of a letter that he wrote to F. Scott Fitzgerald. "Forget your personal tragedy. We are all bitched from the start, and you especially have to hurt like hell before you can write seriously. But when you get the damned hurt, use it. Don't cheat with it. Be as faithful to it as a scientist. But don't think anything is of importance because it happens to you or anyone belonging to you." Not only is letter writing part of literature, but it's part of some of the greatest literature. Now that the world has digitalized so much, we've sort of lost the art of communication in poetic ways. Not to say that instant messaging isn't powerful in itself. It's very important. I've had friendships and relationships in the past that have only withstanded their length of time because of instant messaging. But I feel like what we're losing from letter writing is that snapshot of that particular moment in time of that person. Letters are a tangible history of your feelings in a moment of time. They're just as important as thinking. Here's an experiment that I hope everybody tries. If you have someone you love, a partner, a friend, a colleague, anybody, I really think you should write them a letter and post it. Go full throttle, do the work. You'll feel that when you're sitting down and writing to someone who isn't in the same room as you, it changes the dynamic of how you actually see them and perceive them. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, Nazar out.